Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. I was just about to go to sleep until I got pinged saying that the right to repair bill that I have spent 7 years trying to get passed in my home state got fucked. And it actually got fucked in the exact manner that I thought it would. I did this video, my guess on how New York's right to repair bill would die. I said it's likely not going to be vetoed because then they would have had a veto-proof majority over it, and it will also not likely be passed because it getting passed without being tainted or screwed with would actually be good for society, and that's not something that New York State government is going to allow to happen. So it does look like the bill was approved with amendments. And we're going to go over those amendments here. It's a State of New York Executive Chamber, a memorandum filed with Senate Bill 4104A entitled An Act to Amend the General Business Law in relation to the sale of digital electronic equipment and providing diagnostic and repair. Now, this bill did have to be amended because, again, it's not like it passed with any sort of general consensus. It's not like it passed 147-2 in the Assembly as is and 59-4 in the Senate. It's not like the FTC has suggested that states move on this. It's not like, the Biden administration produced an executive order last year asking this to be acted on as is. No, it had to be edited and watered down, even more than it's already been edited and watered down, to the point where it's functionally useless. Let's read this. So it says, the bill requires original equipment manufacturers of digital electronic products to provide materials to product owners and independent repair providers in New York to facilitate repairs. Such materials include documents like manuals and diagrams and tools like diagnostics and parts. The bill exempts certain products and industries from the bill's requirements, including home appliances, motor vehicles, medical devices, and off-road equipment. Now, these were the original watered-down compromises that we agreed to. We can always go back and try to get farmers and medical devices in a different bill later with different terms. But we thought that this would be good enough, and it was, because it passed 147-2 and 59-4. It says here, as technology and smart devices become increasingly essential to the lives of New Yorkers, it is important for customers to be able to fix their devices they rely on in a timely fashion. This legislation would enhance consumer options in the repair markets by granting them greater access to parts, tools, and documents needed for repairs. Encouraging consumers to maximize the lifespan of their devices through repairs is a laudable goal to save money and reduce electronic waste. Fortunately, that's the exact opposite of what's going to happen with this bill because of how it was amended. It says here, the legislation as drafted included technical issues that could put safety and security at risk, which, as I've mentioned in my videos over and over and over and over and over again, is bullshit. That's not just me saying it's bullshit. That's the FTC saying it's bullshit in a 56-page report that was released last year that I've covered on this channel numerous times that I will link to down below. Everything they said about safety and security is bullshit. The manufacturers have not provided a single fucking citation for how anything in this bill could harm the user's safety or security. Not one citation. In spite of that, the governor has it written into the bill that as it was written, it would harm safety and security. There's no citation of how. This is an absolute and utter troll. So it says, and I am pleased to have reached an agreement with the legislature to address these issues. This agreement eliminates the bill's original requirement calling for OEMs to provide to the public any password, security codes, and materials to override security features, and allows for original equipment manufacturers to provide assemblies of parts rather than individual components when the risk of improper installation heightens the risk of injury. So what does that mean? That means that this bill is functionally useless. It's functionally useless. Like, again, why do people come to us? Why do people show up to this store rather than go to the manufacturer? Because the manufacturer will tell you that when you have a bad $28 chip on your motherboard, that what you need to do is replace the $745 motherboard. The entire reason that people come to us, the entire reason that we have a business, is because we will do the work to replace individual components rather than entire assemblies. That is the point. That people will come to us to have their $72 LCD screen replaced rather than have their $450 LCD assembly that has the cable and the hinges and the webcam and the metal and the Apple logo in the back, all replaced when the only problem is the screen. This is what we've been looking for this entire time, the ability to buy parts. Writing into the bill that you can say that you could just make available an assembly anytime you say that there's a risk of the user screwing something up or anything like that makes the bill functionally useless. What have I said about the IRP program this entire time? Why have I said I don't become Apple authorized? Because if you become Apple authorized, you cannot buy just the LCD so that you can actually do an economically viable repair for your customer. You must buy this expensive ass assembly. You cannot get a chip. What you need to do is buy a motherboard, which is ridiculously overpriced when somebody just needs one IC. What Apple does, and what I said in my testimony to the FTC last year, is they'll tell Intersil, don't make this $5 or $15 chip available to the general public. Make sure that they can't buy it so that when you have a problem with this particular device, you have to go and buy the entire assembly. That's the entire point. That's the entire reason for this bill. It's the entire thing I've been talking about in this channel for the last 7 fucking years, and they ignored every single one of it and passed a useless piece of shit bill that does nothing. This is, in my opinion, actually worse than nothing, because people are going to see landmark right to repair bill passed, right to repair bill passed, and they're going to say, oh, we're done. Yeah, we don't have to deal with this anymore. Why is that guy in the blue shirt in the cabinet's lap bitching? He got what he wanted. when in reality, we haven't gotten shit. Again, if she had literally just vetoed the fucking bill, in my opinion, this would be better. Because at least we would know where she stands, rather than editing the bill in this sneaky-ass way to make it functionally useless. Because now, here's what happened. What they did is many of these manufacturers have produced their own self-repair programs, which, as I've said, functionally useless, can't get access to 99% of what we need to actually be able to do an economically viable quality repair for our customer. Can't get access to any of that. And now you have a right to repair bill that essentially is the same thing as the manufacturer's own shit repair program. You may wonder, why am I being so unfair on this? How bad could these programs be that are coming out from the manufacturers where they just sell assemblies? Let's look at Samsung's. Samsung has a self-repair program. The battery is $206 because they're selling you the battery with the screen. They glue the battery to the screen, and then they say it's dangerous for you to unglue the battery that they have decided to glue with industrial-grade adhesive to the device. So I talked about this here. Samsung trolls users with horrible self-repair program. $206 cell phone battery. This is a $206 battery, and you are going to see more of this. That is compliant with the program because they implicitly wrote into the fucking bill that is okay, which makes this bill useless. You added one line to this bill that erases 7 years of work. Great fucking job, Governor Hochul. This isn't right to repair. This is a bastardization. And again, it's honestly, like, we knew what to expect. This is exactly what I put in the post that I did yesterday. This is what I wrote. This is literally exactly what I said. And here's the thing. When you look on my channel, when you look at what people thought was going to happen, when you just look at the poll as it was put together, it says right here, she'll pass the bill, 5% said yes. She'll fuck it up. 95% said yes to that. 95% of the viewers expected that this would be fucked up. And that's exactly what happened. And it was fucked up in exactly the manner that I described in yesterday's video. Now, there are many people that are going to say, I can't believe that you moved to Texas. Why would you move to a state that has these types of laws, this, that, and the other? You could have lived in a state that respected right to repair, that wanted to do something good for the consumer in your industry. Because they'd screw it up. We're talking about a state, we're talking about a city where they don't even know their own laws, where they can't even tell you how to obey their own laws. When you call them up and ask them, how do I obey your laws? This happens.
Never picked it up, and they won't answer my phone calls or text messages or emails. Does that have to get entered into the Leads Online database, or how does that work?
That is a metaphor for the entirety of everything you do when you're dealing with government in New York State and New York City. It's a clusterfuck from start to finish. It is a horribly corrupt pile of shit. That's what it has always been, and that is likely what it will always be. And a small part of me felt a tiny bit of optimism. Maybe I did something right. 7 years of work, 7 years of doing the right thing, engaging with people on all sides of the political spectrum, showing up in my state legislature, running free repair workshops out of my store so that normal, average, everyday people could get excited about repair, teaching hundreds of thousands of people how to fix shit for free on YouTube, all this type of stuff. I thought maybe I finally did something that could overcome the clusterfuck of shit that is New York State and New York City government, but it is impossible. And unfortunately, tonight, Governor Hochul confirmed every single one of the pessimists in my comments that thought that nothing good could come out of that state. Great fucking job. The entire reason that we have fought for this for the past 10 years is so that we can get access to individual parts without having to deal with the Lord of War, Nicolas Cage supply chain. That's all we've been fighting for this entire time. Outside of the discussion of assemblies versus individual parts, when we're talking about overriding security features and not providing codes or materials to be able to override security features, what is a security feature? I mean, you have manufacturers that are pairing things, claiming that this is about your safety and security. They are pairing the screen to the phone, pairing a battery to the phone. You have Dymo pairing their fucking paper to the printer, so you can't use third-party paper. Imagine they're going to at some point say that third-party paper causes paper cuts, so we can't have it using that. Manufacturers have used safety and security as a reason to restrict your freedom and what you can do with your device and whether you can fix your device and whether you can keep using your device for over a decade now. And this is going to get much worse into the future. And the one chance that we had to fight back against this has been completely effing neutered to the point where it is functionally worthless. So let's say that they decide to pair something and say that this is for security. I am not allowed to ask for the tool that would allow me to replace that particular part with an off-the-shelf part or another chip or another device because it is paired for security. So again, they could say, we're not selling you that part because of safety and security. They could say, we're only going to sell you the full assembly, which is 75% to 90% the cost of the entire device. They could say that we are going to sell you a $205 battery to a $212 smartphone. They can say that we are going to keep you from being able to get access to this because that is something that is used for pairing, for safety and security. At the end of the day, we're right back where we started. We're literally right back where we started. What they did is they passed a bill that to the public is going to look like it solves our problem, with just one line in there that gives the manufacturer a complete out to not solve any of our problems. They can say that you may hurt yourself, you may burn yourself in the soldering iron, soldering the chip. That's a safety issue. They could say that the screen, well, the screen is made of glass. You could cut yourself on the corner of it. That's a safety issue. This allows them an out to be able to say, we're not providing any of this stuff. And you will see, as a result of this bill passing, I bet Oreo, I bet my cat, that they are not going to make anything available. You are not going to have a marketplace where you can get CD3217s that actually work from Texas Instruments. We are not going to be able to get ISO 9240s from Intersil. You are not going to be able to get LCD panels by themselves from LG, Samsung, AU Optronics, or Chime. Nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to change. This bill, in my opinion, is complete and utter garbage. It was a waste of all of our time, and it's honestly fucking insulting to me that you would even pass this shit as it is, rather than just fucking veto it and own it. Just take credit. Just own it. Just fucking own your decision, New York State. Just say, we don't want to pass a good piece of legislation. Fuck the consumer. No. Instead of doing that, you have to pretend that you did a good thing while having this weaselly language in there that doesn't help anybody. New York State could fuck up a wet dream if it's about passing legislation that fucks over small businesses to the point where they can't even tell you how to comply with their own fucking bullshit legislation. New York City and New York State are more than happy to pass that garbage. When it comes to passing something that went to the legislature, 147.2, 59.4, no, we got to edit that. We got to fuck that up in some way so that larger businesses can get away with murder while smaller businesses can't even sell devices that they have written history to. I am so happy to be out of that state. I am so happy to have my business out of that state. I am so happy to live out of that state and not be even within 1,500 miles of that entire clusterfuck of a shithole ever again for the rest of my life. New York State, you fucked up one of your few opportunities to actually do something good by your citizens that passed in a bipartisan manner, 147-2, without falling for manufacturer propaganda, disproven by the FTC and thousands of repair technicians over the past 10 years. Fuck you.